So we hear it all the time, right? AI is coming for our jobs. But is it really that simple, a story of just replacement? Or are there some much deeper economic forces at play here? Forces that decide who wins and who loses? Well, in this explainer, we're going to get past the headlines and find out what's really going on. Let's dive in.
Things really got serious with predictions like this one from Dario Amodei. He's the CEO of the AI giant Anthropic. He's on record saying AI could wipe out half of all entry-level white-collar jobs. I mean, that's a huge number. It's the kind of thing that makes you sit up and pay attention.
But here's the big question. Is a future like that just locked in? Is it our inevitable destiny? Or is the real story a whole lot more complicated? That's what we're going to try to figure out together.
Okay, so here's our game plan. We're going to start by unpacking the key forces of tech change. Then, we'll look at how AI is actually simplifying really complex skills. After that, we'll see why your fate might be different from someone else's. And finally, we'll check out what the very latest data is telling us about where we're headed.
All right, first up, the forces of tech change. See, to really get what AI is doing, you have to understand these three big engines that have been reshaping how we work for decades. AI is just pouring rocket fuel on them.
The first one is called skill-biased technological change, or SBTC for short. Basically, this is when new tech doesn't help everyone out equally. For highly skilled workers who know how to use it, it's a massive boost. It multiplies their productivity. But for less skilled workers, it's often a major headwind.
And you've got to love this image. It just nails the idea. Think of AI as this new powertrain. For the skilled elite, it's like they're getting a jetpack strapped to their back. Whoosh! Their value just skyrockets. But for everyone else, it can feel like you're stuck on a bicycle, pedaling harder and harder just to keep from falling behind.
Next up, we've got routine-biased technological change, or RBTC. Now, this one is all about technology targeting jobs that are predictable, routine. And it doesn't matter if that's on a factory floor or in an office. We're talking about those stable, middle-class jobs that have always been the backbone of the economy. This visual just perfectly shows the effect of RBTC. It's like robots are just methodically taking out the middle rungs of the career ladder. So what are you left with? You get this polarized job market. You've got the high-skill, creative jobs way up at the top, and low-skill service jobs down at the bottom, with this huge gap opening up right in the middle.
And the last engine is capital-biased technological change, CBTC. This one is really fundamental. It's about who gets the rewards from all this new productivity. This is when the tech, the machines, the software, gets so good that a bigger and bigger slice of the economic pie goes to the owners of that tech instead of to the workers doing the labor.
So it all comes down to this tug of war. For a long, long time, labor, that's people, and capital, that's the owners and their machines, had a pretty balanced fight for their share of the value. But with CBTC, the owners of the machines are starting to win that tug of war, pulling away and grabbing more of the wealth, while labor's share gets smaller and smaller.
But, it's not just about jobs completely disappearing. AI is also doing something else, something really profound to the jobs that are left. It's turning deep expertise into something as simple as pushing a button. We call this skills simplification. What we're seeing is this incredible shift away from an era of true craftsmanship, stuff that took years of practice and deep knowledge, to an era of push buttons. The technology gets smarter, but the human's role actually gets smaller and simpler. A task that once took a master years to perfect can now be done by almost anyone. It's a process some call deskilling. And don't for a second think this is just for manual jobs. No way. It is happening right now in elite, licensed professions. Think accounting, think law. People spend years going to debt to get that license, only to find their day-to-day work is becoming, just reviewing and approving what an AI has already generated. They're basically becoming highly paid spell checkers for an algorithm.
So, with all these powerful forces at play, does that mean everyone's fate is sealed? That we're all in the same boat? Absolutely not. And that brings us to a really critical point, why your fate varies. Because it turns out technology is not destiny.
And this right here is maybe the single most important idea in this entire explainer. You have to remember this. Technology delivers the shock. It's the earthquake. But it's our human-designed systems, our institutions, our rules, our policies that actually shape the fallout. The tech itself is only half the story.
Just look at this comparison. You got the exact same technological shockwave hitting Europe and the US. But the results? Totally different. In Europe, with stronger social safety nets, you often see higher unemployment because being out of work is more manageable. In the US, with a weaker safety net, you see massive wage inequality because people are forced to grab any low-wage job they can to survive. It's the same shock, but very different kinds of pain.
And that same logic applies inside professions too. Take lawyers and accountants. The legal market is super fragmented, lots of solo lawyers. So when AI hits, they all have to compete with each other and the AI, and it becomes a race to the bottom on wages. But the accounting market? It's dominated by a few huge firms. When they adopt AI, they don't lower prices, they just stop hiring. And that creates this wall of unemployment for new grads. Same AI, different market, completely different fate.
So, with all these complex forces swirling around, where are we right now? Well, that brings us to our final section. The jury is still out.
Right now, researchers are basically in a huge debate. You've got the pessimists on one side, and they're pointing to studies that show some pretty big drops in employment for young people in jobs that are really exposed to AI, like in software. But then you've got the realists on the other side, and they argue, hey, wait a minute, job prospects in those fields were already getting worse before the latest AI boom because of other economic stuff.
So what we have are two camps of really smart experts, and they're looking at the exact same early data and coming to totally different conclusions. The truth is, it's just too early to say for sure who's right about the specific impact AI is having on the job market so far.
This quote from the research really says it all. The jury is still out. The story of AI in our jobs is literally being written as we speak. Anyone who tells you they know how the final chapter ends is just getting way ahead of the evidence. For now, the only thing that's certain is uncertainty.
Which leaves us with one final and really crucial question. We know technology sets the stage. It creates the possibilities, but it doesn't write the script. Our policies, our market designs, our social choices, we do that. So the real question isn't, what is AI going to do to us? The real question is, what are we going to choose to do with AI?